If you chose a variable rate mortgage in 2022, chances are you got your butt kicked by rising interest rates. In fact, some variable rate mortgages had their interest rates increased by 250% compared to the previous year. And if you had a variable rate mortgage with a fixed payment, there's a 50% chance your mortgage has now hit the trigger rate, meaning that significantly more money is going towards interest than paying down principal. In fact, we've seen some amortizations increase up to 75 years, which means it's going to take a lot of people a really long time to pay down their mortgages. But the question is, should you choose a variable rate mortgage in 2023? And this video's sole purpose is to tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't choose a variable rate in 2023. Now, that doesn't mean that a variable rate mortgage isn't the right option for some. However, this video is going to help you determine if it is absolutely the wrong option for you. But before we get into it, my name is Nolan Matthias, and if you want to thrive financially, this is the place for you. So go ahead, click that subscribe button and hit that like button so more people like you can see this video. All right, so let's get into the 5 reasons why you shouldn't choose a variable rate mortgage in 2023. And these reasons are largely going to do with your individual risk tolerance as well as your knowledge around variable rate products, because what we saw in 2022 and the years prior is a lot of people choosing variable rate mortgages without knowing exactly what they were getting into. So this video is the first in a series that is going to help you determine what the right mortgage is for you. And we're going to start by eliminating variable rate mortgages for those that definitely don't fit in a variable rate product. And I think you're going to be surprised at how simple it is to eliminate a variable rate product for you if it is something you're considering but are not sure about. So let's get into it and let's discuss the 5 reasons why you shouldn't choose a variable rate mortgage. And first and foremost, the number one reason why you shouldn't be choosing a variable rate mortgage is if you think interest rates will continue to go up. Now, nobody has a crystal ball on this. Everybody has a differing opinion on where interest rates are going to go in 2023. But if you think that they're going to continue to go up and that worries you, then choosing a fixed rate mortgage at this moment is probably the right thing for you. Now, there's a couple of things that you have to consider here when choosing a fixed rate over a variable. One is that you're going to have higher penalties, so you want to make sure that you're with a low penalty lender. And 2, and most importantly, is you want to make sure you're with a lender where you can switch to a different lender if you choose to pay out the penalty, because if interest rates do go down, you want to have the option to get into a lower fixed rate mortgage. So what this means is that if you're getting a fixed rate mortgage, make sure that you aren't getting one with a big bank. And at the end of this video, I'm going to link to another video that has even more details about variable versus fixed rate mortgages, so you can get more details on that. And make sure that you watch that video all the way through, because if you don't, there are some things at the end that are really, really important to consider that could change your mind about how you go about choosing your mortgage. Now, the second reason why you may not want to choose a variable rate mortgage in 2023 is that you know it's going to keep you up at night knowing that your interest rate could increase. And by the way, this is the single biggest determining factor on whether or not you should be choosing variable or fixed, and that is your comfort level with changes to interest rates. Because if interest rates do start to go up, it could create a lot of stress for you. So if that is something that is going to bother you significantly, then you probably want to avoid a variable rate mortgage. But if it's something that's not going to bother you and you're a gambler by nature, then it may make sense to choose that variable rate mortgage, because if interest rates do start to go down, you'll be able to benefit from those lower rates in the future. Now, the third reason why you may not want to choose a variable rate mortgage in 2023, and by the way, this is probably the most important if you are in any sort of relationship, is if your spouse or your partner does not feel comfortable with a variable rate mortgage. The number one reason that people get divorced is financially related. And I'm going to tell you right now that we don't want to be the reason why your marriage broke up. So if your partner is not comfortable with a variable rate, do not choose a variable rate mortgage, because it's going to create stress if interest rates do go up. And it is going to put you in a scenario where that stress could have an adverse effect on your relationship. So if one person is risk averse in the relationship, then you both need to be risk averse, especially when you're thinking about the biggest financial decision of your life, which is that mortgage. Now, the fourth reason why you shouldn't choose a variable rate mortgage is if you can get a short-term fixed rate for cheaper than you can get a variable rate. So in other words, let's say variable rates are priced at around 5%, but you can get a short-term 2 or 3 year mortgage for 4.5% to 5%. Well, that short-term 2 or 3 year fixed mortgage may be a better option, especially if it looks like interest rates are going to continue to increase. Now, taking a short-term fixed mortgage is still somewhat of a variable rate strategy. However, it is a strategy that allows you to get the best of both worlds. So if you can foresee interest rates going up in the very near future and you just lock in for a couple of years, that will give you the opportunity to ride out some of the waves of rising interest rates. Now, my wife and I did this back in 2017, and it worked out very, very well for us because we could see that interest rate rises were on the horizon, and we took a 2-year that allowed us to ride those out while still giving us the opportunity to jump into a variable rate mortgage further on down the road and take advantage of when interest rates dropped substantially at the beginning of 2020. Now, before I get into the last reason why you should avoid a variable rate mortgage, if you are in the market for a mortgage, there's a whole bunch of details on mortgages that you need to understand. And this is going to play into the fifth and final reason why you shouldn't take a variable rate mortgage. But if you're in the market, there are a whole bunch of blind spots that typical consumers don't even know exist. In fact, there's a lot of landmines and surprises that can come up down the road if you choose the wrong mortgage. Now, if you're dealing with a company like mine, like Mortgage 360, we obviously make sure that most of those landmines and surprises are taken care of early on in the process so that they never are something that you find yourself having to face. However, as we learned from running this YouTube channel for the last few years, many people will try to do things by themselves and do things like pick variable rate mortgages with fixed payments that are going to end up costing them a significant amount of money down the road because they didn't know that the fixed payment option wasn't the best option for them. So we put together a course to help people who want to do it alone. And that course is priced so cheaply that anybody who's looking at getting into the market for a mortgage can absolutely afford it. And they would be crazy not to take it and make sure that they knew all of the things that they didn't know about actually getting a mortgage. So we've called that course Secrets to Getting the Lowest Interest Rate, and it is designed to make you a more effective borrower, to have better information and make sure that you don't make any mistakes. You can get that course by going to ratesecrets.ca. And if you decide you want to throw in the towel and have Mortgage 360 actually help you with your mortgage, we put a special offer in there to make sure you get at least 10 times your money back if you end up choosing Mortgage 360 for your mortgage. All right, so without further ado, let's move on to the fifth and last reason you shouldn't choose a variable rate mortgage in 2023. And it is that you don't understand the different types of variable rate mortgages, because this is what happened over the last couple of years. A lot of people chose variable rate mortgages with their big banks, didn't understand that they had fixed payments rather than adjustable payments, and that at some time they were going to have to make up a significant amount of money that they hadn't been paying towards their principal. So if you had chosen a Scotiabank or a First National mortgage, or had your mortgage done through a typical mortgage broker, there's a very, very good chance that you ended up in a variable rate mortgage with an adjustable payment, which means as interest rates have risen, so too has your payment, and you're feeling the changes gradually as interest rates actually increase. Otherwise, if you had chosen a big bank variable rate mortgage, you have a variable rate mortgage with a fixed payment, and your payments have stayed the same, but the amount of money that you're putting towards interest rather than principal has gone down substantially. And these are the type of mortgages that a lot of people have found themselves in, and they're going to create a lot of problems for people down the road. So you want to make sure that when you are getting a mortgage, you understand exactly what you are getting and why you are choosing that mortgage. Further to that, if you had chosen a broker and you ended up with a discount variable rate mortgage, one that had something like a bona fide sale clause, well, then you aren't able to switch to a different lender to get a better interest rate when you decided to lock in, and that could have caused problems as well. So you want to make sure that you absolutely 100% understand what you're getting into when you choose a mortgage. And if you don't understand the exact details of what you're getting, you want to make sure that you aren't jumping into that variable rate without clear knowledge of the landmines and surprises that could be coming with it. So those are the 5 reasons why you shouldn't be choosing a variable rate mortgage in 2023. In future videos in this series, we're also going to talk about why you should choose a variable, why you shouldn't choose a fixed, why you should choose a fixed, and then compare variable versus fixed rates. And at the end of watching all of the videos in this series, you should be able to choose a mortgage with certainty that you are choosing the right one for you. And by the way, if you want to check out the variable versus fixed mortgage video, it's linked right here.